back just recently, just about less than a year ago, and this is, I haven't been doing too much since then. I'm starting to go out and talk about it. But this is entitled Om, and all the animals, there's little things coming out. I found a marvelous Sanskrit, I don't know where I found it, something, and cut them out. This is a montage, and each one of these animals is saying, oh, they're meditating. I've had people say, this is really scary. Does this scare you? Oh, good. I had someone say that. Is it scary? I don't know. Okay. So, let's see. Well, I want to know a little bit why you're here. I did talk to you shortly already, and would anyone mind telling me anything about your animal experiences, or a reason why you're here, or you walked in, you had some champagne or cookies? It doesn't really matter, and you don't have to talk at all if you don't want to. My book idea to friends and at parties and coffee houses, even the poor guy that sat next to me on a plane one time, about this new idea. And in discussions around the subject, the conversation usually went like this. Okay, I know where you're coming from. I consider myself a good person, but I have a hard time believing that my smelly, hyperactive dog and my cat who pees in my garden and claws my furniture are conscious beings with souls yet. I love them, not as much as my family and friends maybe, but at least they're on the list of responsibilities that I've taken on as busy as I am. I enjoy a good steak. I'm sorry about our inhumane slaughtering practices. What can be done about it? Besides, animals don't feel pain like we do. These are really responses I got from people. I had a list, 40, 50, and once I just narrowed it down. When I suggest that all animal life forms have conscious intelligence, have souls, it's as if I've taken a stand on abortion or told them what political party I subscribe to. This time you crossed the line. I volunteer in hospices and wherever I'm needed. Now you're asking me to do what? Include animals in my spiritual life? Am I going to hell for my lack of interest? I am made in God's image. They're not. I have a soul, and they don't. And that's kind of what's the atmosphere, and I started this book year 2000, and it took 12 years to finish it because it became a very painful episode to me, because the first 2 years I started studying world religions and started looking for the animals. They're not in the sacred books. You can search I went through the Quran, the Bible, page by page. And sure enough, there's a little snippets here and there, but they're not considered part of the religious studies, and that's where I started. But I didn't want this to be a religious book, so I started carrying away, because I believe that our beliefs, what we believe deep down inside us, religion is just a part of it. We are more than our religion, unless we behave much like our religion. There are very few people I've ever met in my life who are purely who they are, and religiously, but they have it in the back of their heads, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to read you part of the story. I have a problem. Hundreds of species of the other animals are endangered, leaving the planet at an alarming rate. The animals think human beliefs, including religions and sciences, are the cause of the dilemma. What happened to the animal-human spiritual connection? The universe offers a little planet somewhere out in the celestials for the animals and humans to meet. It's called sanctuary. The animals arrive first and prepare for the arrival of their human guests. Their first problem was, who among 7 billion humans should we invite to help us with this question? Dog growled softly, and I'm going to read just what Dog said about that. And Dog said, my species has sat at the feet of humans for over 32,000 years. We have lived among humans longer than any other animal has. We still haven't figured them out. We were the first to be invited to enter their sleep places as their friend, guardian, and servant. In some parts of the world, we're still on the menu. Bon appetit. She paused to sip a little water from a nearby puddle and continued, in ancient civilizations, especially old Egypt, many animal species were elevated to the status of gods and goddesses. Even insects were worshipped. Flies swarmed around Dog's ears, buzzing. Even the insects? Apologizing for her insensitive remarks, Dog brushed the buzzing ones away and told them the animals appreciate them. They are an important link in the food chain. Satisfied, the little ones flew to Black Bear, who was dipping his paws into a honey pot. There was plenty of the sweet stuff to share. Bear didn't seem to mind, not here in Sanctuary anyway. So before the great humans come in, and I'll explain who they are in a minute, the animals talk about some of their problems. I'm not going to read you more than one, which I think allowed these movies so much. But Taos stepped in and apologized for his being a major cause of the forest destruction. Millions of his kind are placed on land that once were rainforests and graze until they are fat enough to be slaughtered. The shrinking global village has made it possible for the fast food industry to sell their flesh to large populations who have never heard of a hamburger until now. A deep voice boomed across Sanctuary, startled several birds, scattered in the air, then returned to their perches. I must have jumped 2 feet off my seat. Ignoring our reaction, polar bear opened the meeting. Her species is endangered. She is frightened by the sounds of gigantic sections of ice cliffs crashing into the ocean day and night. After hunting for sparse food, her daily swim to her home base is often more than 150 miles across the Arctic water. Her young son couldn't make it yesterday. She's not sure she can make the swim if the ice floats apart. And she asked her life mate. Last week we flew over one of those structures built in the city called Denver. There they were. Hundreds of worshipers were dressed in orange and blue. Hundreds more were wearing red and white. The red and white ones had gathered in one section of a huge parking lot, and the orange and blues were in another. The red and whites hooted and howled at the orange and blues. The orange and blues howled back. Very funny. We guess they were preparing for their worship service by sitting in the back of their cars eating and drinking. After the crowd satisfied their hunger and great thirst, they joined many more thousands entering the Colosseum. We like this part best because of this ritual best because we can feast on the crumb mess they leave behind. She eyed a particularly lovely nut someone had dropped. After gulping it down, she continues. This is when it gets exciting. Somewhere below the worshippers' seats, a door opened and many gods adorned in orange and blue charged onto the field. The thousands wearing the same colors stood up as one and praised their gods with a thunderous roar. It filled the air. I had to be careful or the winds from the sound would have knocked me out of the sky. Their prayer was a strange one. Go, go, win, win. Her partner fluttered to her side, adding, we still haven't figured out where they want their gods to go. Then the red and white gods emerged from another side of the Colosseum. They ran out onto the field as their worshippers tried to outdo the orange and blues, yelling, yay, yay, go, go, go. By that time, every one of the thousands stood, stomped, swayed, waved signs and pom-poms, spilling beer on each other in every which way. He laughed. It's very funny watching humans get passionate about their deities. Clearly excited, Dame Pension rose in the air and returned to the ground to interrupt her mate. Then things got rough. An elliptical ball was thrown and caught by one of the orange and blue gods. All the gods raced toward each other, crashing their hard heads together, pushing and grabbing necks, legs, and arms, anything to knock the others down. We still haven't figured out what they were fighting about. The animals laughed at Pigeon's story, but were confused by the game of the gods. Tiger looked down at Shrew, who was sitting between his legs. Oh. Dog asked, who then should we invite? Down through the ages, dogs have been present in the great rooms with countless men and women who call themselves rulers, influencers, leaders, change makers. These are the ones we should invite. We can't bring all of them to Sanctuary. Nothing can be accomplished with so many egos to contend with. Tiger looked down at Shrew, who was sitting between his legs. What's an ego? Is ego edible? Shrew replied, must be an animal we've never met. So the animals asked the universe again for help, and 11 universal images in human form. And please raise your hand if you have a question about this. I thought long and hard, how do I get a few people to Sanctuary to play with the animals and to solve the question? And a friend of mine was getting his PhD in Jung, Carl Jung. Carl Jung had, you might have heard of the universal images or archetypical but not really archetypical. Universal images are more than archetypes. And whatever that, I just don't think you'd want to hear all that, but so the animals, so the universe does create 11 universal images in human form. So some are called scientist, cleric, communicator, teacher, to name a few. Humanity would be invited as an observer. So we have, in other words, every scientist from past and in the present who's ever had anything to influence the lives of animals is in the scientific image. This has been very hard to try to describe in a very short time, but I hope that, any questions about that? You got it? Oh, good. He comes back to them way in a different situation and a different time. The group of universal images have gone through many adventures with the animals. I wrote it this way because I didn't want to write a textbook. I'm a professor. I could have written a textbook. I wanted to write something that would be a fantasy, maybe, something that would interest people. And here she comes. Good. I'm glad Mabel came in. Mabel, get up here. I need you. Okay. So he says, you wonder who I am? Let me explain. I am the caretaker of your secrets. How could he know our most hidden thoughts? I searched my mind trying to ferret out the secrets I keep inside me. Secrets that could hurt me if they were known. Things I couldn't bear if anyone knew. I'm not here to reveal your personal secrets. There was a collective sigh of relief. There is a much greater, awesome secret that is hidden within every, and I mean every human being on Earth, whether she is a CEO of a worldwide corporation or he is stalking a monkey in a rainforest trying to find a monkey to feed his hungry family. Every human being on Earth is born with this universal secret. Imagine, come on up here, girl. Imagine even you, the personas contained within universal images of the highest rank, are keeping the same secret from each other. And we didn't figure that out. Okay, so he tries again. Hi. I'm trying to find, oh here. So this is, I'm revealing the secret. I always tell people to get the book and find out for yourself. But when they do, they don't know anyway, until they read it again and again and again and again. So I found the pages. All right, what is the secret? Secret began again. Denying what you know deep inside you is a form of ignoring. Ignoring becomes ignorance. Denial of the obvious is conscious ignorance. Men of every culture and religion know, yet ignore, women are equal to them in the eyes of their God and should be treated with the same respect they give each other, much like the men that are here. Those who slaughter the food animals inefficiently know, yet ignore the animals' struggles to break free from pain. Those who eat the animals know, yet ignore that the animals suffer during their kill. Those who experiment on live animals know the animals are in terror, yet they ignore their cries. I could go on and on. Now, nobody has a question about any of this yet? You're also, want to get another glass of champagne?